Okay, now I come to the important part, although the rule is very short. So it says nothing in these rules shall exonerate. Exonerate means pardon. So rule number two is talking about responsibility. Okay, who is responsible? Whose responsibility?
Our responsibility.
Everybody's responsibility. Everybody's responsibility. Responsibility for what?
To keep care.
No.
To avoid, sir,
Those
safety of the
Responsible
vessel,
for
sir.
no. Responsible for what?
safety of
towards the collision.
crew.
No. Responsible for has to be for something. For what? For following ROR. Because it's talking about rule 2, responsibility. Responsibility for following ROR. That is what the title of the rule is all about. So the first point it says is nothing in these rules shall exonerate. Means there is no pardon or excuse. To whom? To anybody. To owner, master, ठीक है, vessel, crew. Now, is the list over as yet? No, the list is not over. It carries on. What it is trying to indicate is that it also encompasses everybody who's associated with it. So it includes charterer, it shipper, consignee, agent, etc. It includes all of them. There is no excuse or no pardon to anybody from what? From the consequences of any neglect. Of any neglect to follow ROR, or of the neglect of any precaution which may be required by the ordinary practice of seamen. Ordinary practice of seamen. That means the best practices of seamen, the best practices of the industry, the prudent seamanship as it is called. Prudent seamanship. So, point number one is emphasizing to follow ROR, basically. ये कह रहा है. Point number two, in construing and complying with these rules, matlab, while following ROR, due regard shall be had to all the dangers. You shall give regards to all the dangers of navigation and collision and limitations of the vessel. And the limitations of the vessels, and to any special circumstances of the case. You will give regards to all of them, including the limitations of the vessel involved, which which force you to make a departure from ROR, you shall consider everything while you're doing that, and which will force you to make a departure from ROR to avoid immediate danger. You shall still follow ROR because you are responsible for it. This is what the meaning of the rule is. This is one sentence. There is no break in it. There is no comma. There is no full stop. It starts off with while you are following ROR. You will give regards to all the dangers of navigation, collision, and limitations of the vessel involved, and any special circumstances which will force you to make a departure from ROR to avoid any immediate danger. But you will still keep following ROR because you are responsible for it. This is the meaning of the sentence and not what we have been thinking about it. We have very conveniently said make a departure from ROR and you're okay with it. But that is not a separate sentence. It is continuing. The same sentence is continuing. There is no comma and full stop in it. You understood how this changes the meaning of the whole thing, whatever we have thought of so far?
No, sir. Can you explain again, sir?
I have written it already. Have you written down whatever I've just written?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It says that while following ROR, in construing and complying with these rules, that means while you are following ROR, you will give regards to all the dangers of navigation and collision, and to any special circumstances of the case, including the limitations of the vessel involved, which may make a departure from these rules. That means they may force you to make a departure from the rules to avoid immediate danger, but you will still follow ROR.
Understood, sir.
You are responsible for it. So point number one, the rule two starts with the responsibility. That means please follow ROR. It tells you that. Then point number one also tells you the same thing. Please follow ROR. There is no excuse. Point number two also starts off with please follow ROR. So the whole rule is only about following ROR and not about not following it, as some of us on the ship are believing it to be. And we preach that. Most of our seniors on the ships are all saying that. Do ROR, do anything, it will save you. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's not what the rule is meant for. Rule is not meant to tell you to break the rules. If that was the case, so nobody would have followed ROR. There is no need to have 41 rules. You should just keep breaking it. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Don't have collision. That's all. One line. The fact that you have rules, you cannot have a rule stating that you break it. What some of our seniors have done is they've taken this line out, which may make a departure from these rules necessary to avoid immediate danger. इसको standalone line ले लिए and उसको अपने convenience के लिए हमने ये बना दिया कि rule is saying which please make a departure from rules. It is not saying so. It's a continuation of a line. Please read in entirety the whole sentence. Then it makes sense. In construing and complying while following ROR. That means rule आपको कह रहा है while you are following ROR, there will be conditions which will force you to go against ROR. There will be limitations. There will be navigation, collision, special circumstances, which will force you to go against ROR, but you will not. You will still keep following ROR. That's what the rule is trying to tell you, not the other way around. Is that okay? Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
So you have to be very careful with these words, because on the ship I know there are lots of
Yes, sir. आज
masters.
तक तो पता ही नहीं था कि ऐसा आज तक वही विच में मेक
Yes,
डिपार्चर
sir.
का मतलब उल्टा लगता
Yes,
था.
sir. Thank you so much.
So because वो स्टैंड अलोन उसको निकाल दिया था लोगों ने. You can't take out one segment of the sentence and then use it for your convenience. You can't do that.
Sir, if surveyor ask this in orals and people say कि हम डिपार्चर कर सकते तो उनको फेल कर दिया जाता है क्या?
Correct.
तो सर इसका मतलब अगर कंडीशंस भी आती हैं कि हमें डिपार्चर करना है, हमें तब भी डिपार्चर नहीं करना सर.
Absolutely right. हम डिपार्चर नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि अगर मैं डिपार्चर करूंगा और फ्रॉम द रूल्स, राइट, and I am supposed to be standing on, and the other guy is supposed to be giving way. और मैंने अगर गलत एक्शन ले लिया, वो उसने गिव वे लास्ट मिनट पे कर दिया, तो कोलिजन तो पक्का है. नाउ आई कांट यूज दिस एज एन एक्सक्यूज कि भैया मैं तो रूल 2 कर रहा था. वो तो कहेगा मैं तो ROR फॉलो कर रहा हूँ. If supposing I've got a college, I've got a vessel on my crossing me on my port bow, I'm not supposed to go to port. Collision हो रहा है. लास्ट मिनट आई फील कि चलो मैं पोर्ट चला जाता हूँ, शायद बच जाऊंगा. मैं पोर्ट चला जाता हूँ, वो लास्ट मिनट पे स्टार्ट हो जाता है. And this is a collision. I can't use rule 2 as an excuse. I did the mistake myself. I committed the blunder by going to port. Get the point?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So this has got to be very carefully tackled.
Yes,
And
sir.
there are lots of people. You will find अभी जहाज पे जाओगे तो भी अभी भी आपको मास्टर भी मिलेगा, मेट भी मिलेंगे ऐसे कहने वाले.
सर
तो आप
भंडारकर पब्लिकेशन में भी यही लिखा हुआ है सर.
पता है मुझे, आई नो दैट. सब जगह यही लिखा हुआ है, बिकॉज ये चलता आ रहा है हिस्टोरिकली. You have to read it in this entirety, this whole thing. जब ये रूल बने थे तो उसकी जो IMO की जो मीटिंग हुई थी उसमें कैप्टन रेवारी ने अटेंड किया था. कैप्टन रेवारी was the one who attended that meeting, and then he taught us. He said that this was the essence of this whole thing, and this has been distorted by some of us.
The meeting held in IMO, Captain has revived.
What happened?
Sir, I'm asking you saying na कि Captain SS Rewari actually attended the meeting in IMO.
Correct. That's right. So he taught us. He taught us when we were in Rajendra. He taught us, and then LBS College. So we learned this from him, and that's how it. So basically, there are several people who still believe what you have also been taught. कि नहीं, you can carry on, no problem. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. That is wrong, totally wrong. That is not what the rules were meant to design for. And you just try to use your own logic and sense.
तो सर दोनों पॉइंट्स में ये यही कह रहा है रूल नंबर 2 में कि हमें ROR ही फॉलो करनी है, इससे
Correct.
डिपार्ट नहीं करना है.
बिल्कुल.
In
और
any
उसका
condition.
और रूल नंबर 2 का जो टाइटल है उसको पढ़ लो. वो भी क्या वही असर्ट कर रहा है.
Yes,
तो
sir.
भैया यू आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर इट. रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर व्हाट? फॉर फॉलोइंग ROR. यू आर कंप्लाइंग विद इट. कंप्लायंस की बातें कर रहा है वो. The whole of Rule 2 is centered around this, against strict compliance. ठीक है? Is that okay? Does it make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. What else? Which rules do you want to do next time? I'll be taking a class next week also. So tell me, what rules do you want to do?
So the question which has been there in the papers, like enumerate the regulation in Colrex for stand-on vessels. So do we just need to quote the rule, or we need to describe something else as well?
For stand-on vessel, you'll be writing all about Rule 17. You'll be explaining it in your own words.
Okay, so the meaning of enumerate the regulation in Colrex for stand-on vessels means,
Enumerate the regulation means you have to first rule number 17 को
Quote.
लिखना पड़ेगा,
yeah,
कोट करना पड़ेगा और उसके बाद में उसका मीनिंग बताना पड़ेगा.
in our own terms.
In your own words, so whatever I've written it on the board for you.
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so you have to give that explanation.
Mostly only this question has been repeated from ROR.
Yeah, mostly this. Mostly this is the one which is coming.
Excuse me,
Yes, please.
सर एक क्वेश्चन था मैंने पहले पढ़ा था कि व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट सोर्सेज ऑफ बैक स्कैटर. तो सर बैक स्कैटर में हम क्या क्या सोर्सेज ले सकते हैं सर?
Different sources of backscatter. ऐसा कोई question तो नहीं है, but answering your question
Like
from this thing.
Active radar.
Sources of backscatter would be your weather. So your moisture in the air, relative humidity, dew point. So you're talking about backscattering of light, okay?
Yes sir.
So you're talking about the scattering that you see. So the loom that you see around the light, that is what you're talking about. And in addition to that, your light inside the bridge, the chart room. These are also the sources of backscatter.
Yes sir. Light from equipments also.
Lights
from,
of equipment
then,
as
then
well.
lights from your equipment, the dimmer control that you have, that is the meant for that, controlling that only. So lights from the panel, from your bridge front panel,
And sir, deck lights also.
deck lights also, deck lights,
Okay.
your bridge front lights. These are all the sources.
Port lights if we are near shore.
If you're near the shore, port lights, other vessels lights, other vessels deck lights is also a source.
Yes.
Then the freeboard of your vessel versus the freeboard of the other vessel. So if you are a small vessel and there's a vessel which has got a higher freeboard, automatically you're going to get dwarfed by that.
Yes sir.
So that also.
सर
हाँ जी.
ये सर एसके पुरी सर की किताब में ये जो रूल नंबर 2 की एक्सप्लेनेशन है सर पार्ट बी में इसने दे रखा है कि when complying with these rules a mariner is permitted to deviate from these rules necessary to avoid immediate danger under two conditions as follows. Then sir इसने दो conditions दी. There are special circumstances of the case. Second one is there is an immediate danger.
Correct.
And then sir उसमें आगे लिखा है कि both above condition must be there. If one is absent then deviation from these rule may not be justified.
Correct. That's the actual. ये वो है. That's the point. So how do you define immediate danger? What is immediate?
Yes, sir, and the questions have been repeated by the surveyors as well, that what are those two conditions by which you will deviate.
So what is immediate danger? Immediate means right now. Are you in danger? So when we talk about 2 miles off, 1 mile off, are you in immediate danger? The answer is no.
No sir.
You're not in immediate danger. So your justification for taking a wrong action or anti-ROR action for 1 mile off or half a mile off is not justified because you're not in immediate danger.
But sir, this depends on the individual, what he thinks as the immediate danger
The
is for
point
him.
the point across is whenever court of inquiry is held, then at that point in time they would find out that at what distance off did you go wrong, did you take an anti-ROR action, okay? So the moment that gets disclosed, that well, you took an action at 2 miles or 1 mile or half a mile, that will never be an immediate danger. You have to understand this logic.
Yeah, he could later on when he said that there can be inspections, then he could be found at fault. But sir, immediate danger for any person would be how he has how he assesses the situation. He thinks
No,
in
no,
two
it is
miles.
not. It is not. It is not. If that starts happening, if it starts becoming a random thing, what is immediate danger to you at 3 miles? For me, immediate danger is not at 3 miles.
Yeah,
Then it will
3 miles
become
is a long distance,
a,
but
then it
one
becomes
mile could be for him.
so then we are talking about variabilities, na?
Yeah.
So then that is not just then it's not right.
So
Then
how
it
does
is not.
IMO describe an immediate danger when
So
you have a
so
cable?
so therefore that is the reason why I gave you this explanation. This is what IMO has said. You can't make a departure. The rule is telling you that.
Yeah, but I have an immediate danger. I can make a departure.
No, you can't. Please try to understand. You can't. Then you are defeating rule 2 itself totally. You still have to still follow ROR. Please, please follow ROR. It is better to follow ROR and have a collision than to have a collision by not following ROR. Please remember that.
Okay.
It is better. I repeat my sentence once again. It is better to have a collision by following ROR than to not follow ROR and have a collision.
Understood.
Got it? So it's something like if I'm driving my car or my mobike on the road, I better be on my right side. Then I can have a tucker. Done, no issues. But if I'm on the wrong side and then I have a tucker, then I have committed a crime. Then I'm grossly at wrong. Get the point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So there'll be no pardon for me then. कोई मेरे को कोई बचा नहीं सकता.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So what could be our best action taken in case of immediate danger?
Following ROR. So basically now we come to your question. अगर मेरी टक्कर हो रही है, okay, what should be my action at that point in time? My first action should be my engine should be stopped. Right? It is if I'm going at full ahead and then I have a tucker, then I have contravened everything. So my immediate reaction should be stop engine. Ideally, I should be going full astern at the time of the impact so that my momentum is reduced and the impact of the collision is reduced. That should be the ideal. But at least I should be stop engines when the collision occurred at that point in time. Then at that point in time, my bow should be swinging away from the bow of the other vessel.
But sir, if we have to put the collision bulkhead ahead, then
No, whatever be the case, so my bow has to swing away. Please remember. That means my TCPA should have been increasing. The rate of change of TCPA should have been going away. उसके बाद भी collision हो गई. It's okay. But the severity of the impact is going to be less.
बट सर अगर हम भाव को लाइक अल्टर करते हैं तो बाय चांस अगर दूसरे जहाज ने हमारे होल्ड में कर दिया सर, कोलिजन हुआ, रप्चर हो गया या टैंक रप्चर हो गया, तो इससे बेटर हम कोलिजन बल्कहेड पे ले लें ना सर.
So therefore, what is called तभी तो उसको glancing blow कहते हैं. That it should be a glancing blow. That means you should be able to curve along it. You've seen that movie, um, Speed 2.
Yes, sir.
So Speed 2 में these guys hijack the
Yeah.
vessel,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Right. So and then they are making the vessel program उसको hijack कर लेते हैं and software को, and they are making the vessel go towards a tanker.
They approach and then they curve.
They approach. So what this our hero does is he goes underwater and उसके वो जो steering gear थी उसको वो turn करके उसको hard starboard कर देता है
Yes, sir.
underwater. So then what the vessel does, what they actually show you is what the collision should be. So it does a glancing blow. It just skims the other vessel's ship side and then scratches it and goes. That's what the collision should be. That's what is, जैसे कहते हैं ना, ideal collision.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So you should always have that. That means your bow should be swinging away. Your rate of change of TCPA should be more at that point in time. And your speed, engines should be stopped. If preferable, full stern. That's what it should be. Fenders should be rigged. And at the first point of the impact, your fenders should take the impact. So the portable fender should be on. You have to make sure of that. So these are your things, the steps that you should take before a collision is occurring. If you're able to do that, you'll be reducing the impact of the collision.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है? All right. चलो. I'll see you
Sure.
the next class. हाँ जी.
सर अगर यही क्वेश्चन लाइक सर्वेयर पूछते हैं कि 2 कंडीशंस बताओ टू डेविएट फ्रॉम दीज रूल्स, देन वी हैव टू स्टेट दीज 2 कंडीशन ना सर, स्पेशल सर्कमस्टांस और इमीडिएट.
ऐसा कभी पूछेंगे नहीं आपको. सेकंड मेट्स को कभी नहीं पूछते रूल 2 because it is understood. This is a question which is asked to masters, not to second mates. Second mates को खाली बस पूछते हैं रूल 2 को कोट कर दो. रूल 2 को कोट कर दिया तो वो भी बहुत है.
Okay, sir.
But at no point of time will you be deviating from this thing. This is the meaning which is written for you. You have to stick to this meaning.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
ठीक है. चलो. All right. I'll see you in the next class. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.